Hey, what's up, YouTube? I just made a couple decks on Normal and Rare Festival, which is going to be taking place very, very soon. And I made a couple of them because I was like, the other video did actually pretty good. And there's still a couple decks I wanted to make. So, starting off, we have an Orcust list. So just pause if you need to. Scrap Recycler, Skeleton, Phantom Skyblaster, Harpour. Pause if you need to, just clicking through it because there's a lot of deck profiles. The extra deck is a little more important. I have 4 rank 7s, which are these 4. And you can make a lot of rank 7s in this deck. You can't really make any other rank besides rank 7. I mean, you probably could make rank 3s, but I mean, I didn't really put it in. You could put it in if you wanted to. It is possible. I feel like the link package is a little more important. I run 2 copies of this card. Because you're going to be going into links more often, especially since they need to be dark links for the Orcust. I run 2 of the triple burst. And only 2 of the boss monster. You can bump the boss monster up to 3, but I feel like you should be winning the game with just 2. Going through card for card, you run a regular Orcust package. That's normal and rare. You have cards that can send to the graveyard. You have cards that can special summon from the graveyard, special summon from the deck, and then you can special summon from your banish pile. The spell cards are to help like speed it up. So you have a really powerful card right here. It's draw 2, and you send an Orcust or a World Legacy card from your hand to the graveyard. And that's really good because when they're in the graveyard, they can like get a majority of like a lot of their effects. Like when this one's sent to the graveyard, this World Legacy card, you can special summon another World Legacy from your hand. When this guy's special summoned, you can add a World Legacy from your deck to your hand. And this guy is like you can banish him from your graveyard, add a World Legacy from your deck to your hand. So this deck's really consistent. You can do a lot of adding. Unique cards in this deck are definitely Scrap Recycler. This one is when it's normal summon, you can send a machine from your deck to the graveyard. All of these are machines, so you can pretty much send everything to the graveyard, whatever you want. Very, very powerful in this deck. Another really powerful card, which I'm surprised is not banned, is Phantasm Skyblaster. This card's really good because when it's normal summoned, you get a token. And what you do with that token is you can immediately go into a link and you get more tokens up to the number of monsters you control. So if you control already some monsters, like from Orcus, like special summoning themselves, you can get like extra tokens and you can immediately go into your boss monster. So this monster is very, very, very powerful. Not only that, it can be used in many other decks. If you like want to make like a link spam deck, this card is definitely really, really strong. I run a little bit of the machine package, which is this one. If I control a level 7 or higher machine, it can't target the lower level ones. I have a couple high level machines, so this card, the first effect is going to be like active a lot. The second effect is good too. If a machine's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one in the graveyard to your hand. So if your link, your boss link, which you only run 2 of, if it happens to get destroyed, you can either add it back to your extra deck or add something else so you can like remake it. So I think this card's pretty good. It's only at 1 because the deck is really tight. But if you can figure out to take out cards and like fit it however you want, you can definitely bump this number up. These are the Orcust card. It's if your opponent summons something, you can like send an Orcust or a World Legacy card from your deck to the graveyard, which is really powerful because you can like send this guy from your deck to your graveyard, and you can like special summon one of these, or you can like send this guy. He can send something, or you can send something else and do something. It's very, very powerful in the deck. The only problem with this card is that your opponent has to normal summon or special summon. The field spell is probably the most important. Originally, I had it bumped up to 3 because it has the effect where all your Orcust monsters have quick effects, which means that you can do these effects during your opponent's turn. You can special summon during your opponent's turn, and your boss monster can activate his effect during your opponent's turn. It's a very powerful card. You can have it at 3. I really couldn't find room for it, so it's at 1 because like it's in the deck if I need it. But I mean, if I'm gonna see it, it's kind of like it's random. It's not searchable. 3 MST because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of back row, a lot of traps in this format, in the normal and rare format. So I definitely think this card should be like at 3 in every single deck. It's so powerful. Pulse Mine, if you control machine, it protects you. Your opponent's monsters get switched to defense. So it's really, really powerful because it just protects you for an entire turn. I feel like you should run it in any machine deck. It's just really, really good. EMR is especially good in this deck because you can tribute a machine, destroy cards on the field up to the attack times 1,000 or whatever. Usually you're going to try to destroy like the bigger guys. Like this guy's 2,500 attack. And finally, the last card is World Legacy's Secret. This is like a Call the Haunted. It's target a monster in your graveyard. It's level 5 or higher. Special summon it. That's pretty much it. The other effect, the last effect, doesn't matter. We're not running Mech Knights. So it's pretty good because you can bring back this guy. So the funny thing is, you can special summon World Legacy guy, and then he adds a trap. And if he dies, you can just special summon this guy back, and he can add another World Legacy card. But yeah, that's an Orcust deck. I think it's pretty solid. The extra deck is pretty much cards you can go into. You want to go into your boss monster. If it's possible, you can go into rank 7s too. So like you have more options, because the extra deck should be like a toolbox, like for you to have more options to do more things in certain duels. Alright, the next deck is a Rokket deck. And the Rockets are especially cool since they have some pretty powerful cards. I'm going to be clicking over all of them real quick. Pause if you need to.
And the extra deck is
So the thing with Rockets is when they die, when they get destroyed by battle or card effect or whatever, they're just destroyed. You can special summon another Rocket from your deck. It's really, really good because it's pretty much an effect that floats. Like when it dies, it replaces itself. And most of them do that. Most of them have that effect. So what you can do in Rockets is you can pretty much grab any rocket you need in any situation as long as you're able to destroy them. Cards that we run to destroy our rockets are Squib Draw, which is sounds like Squid Draw, but you can target a rocket, destroy it, and you draw two. It's a quick play. You can do it during your opponent's turn. I mean, you draw two cards. Cards that let you draw cards are really powerful because they increase your deck's consistency. And then we run another card, which is target a face-up card you control. Doesn't need to be a rocket. Destroy it and special summon a rocket from your deck or graveyard. It's important because we can also special summon from our graveyard. So if we use this card, we're going to be getting two cards because our rocket's most likely going to trigger also, and we're going to get one during the end phase. So it's not bad. We run powerful traps like this one. It's tribute one dragon monster, target two cards on the field, destroy them. It's just really, really good. It helps you get rid of back row. We're not running MST in this deck because as you can see, the deck is 43, and I really wanted to put MST, but I didn't want to make the deck too big. I couldn't really figure out cards to take out because I feel like it's pretty good. But after some play testing, with the normal and rare event when it comes out, I'm gonna be changing up the deck a little bit. And then we have 3 copies of Dragonbind. This is essentially a Vanity's Emptiness. If you're not sure what that does, it makes it so your opponent cannot special summon monsters. What we want to do is equip this to a monster that has high attack. The highest attack monsters we have are like 2,000, which we can get out really, really easy, or 2,500, which is like the best target in my opinion. And what it does is we like activate the trap, we target the monster with high attack, and our opponent cannot special summon anything with less attack. So it's really, really good. We also have like a Monster Reborn type card. It's target a rocket in your graveyard, special summon it, equip it with this card. If the monster equipped with this card is destroyed, you can draw one card. So we get a special summon a rocket from our graveyard, which enables us to do more plays. Also, if it gets destroyed or it leaves the field or whatever, we can draw one card. So it helps us like get more advantage. Powerful cards that are not rockets are this one. You can target a dragon in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Also, which is my favorite effect, if it's in the graveyard and you do not control Link Monster, which is like kind of easy because the Link Monsters are going to die because you don't really have like super, super big boss monsters. This guy's effect is just target a Dark Link in your graveyard, special summon it. The best one you can special summon is Triple Burst. But besides that, you can special summon Booster Dragon, which you're going to be making a lot of, or even Delirious Dragon. So I like this card a lot. Gateway Dragon is if your opponent controls a Link Monster, you can special summon it, so it's like a free summon. But that's not usually going to happen. What's usually going to happen is you just normal summon this guy, and you special summon a Dark Dragon from your hand, which is like everything's a Dark Dragon, so it works really well. And then we have this guy. If a Dark Dragon is special summoned, you can special summon this guy from your hand. 2,800 defense, really big. If he's used as a link material, you draw one. So essentially, this deck's going to be drawing a lot. There's a lot of cards that let you draw, which is good, because you want to be able to have more advantage than your opponent in order to have more options to get rid of your opponent's card or effects or whatever. And finally, we have this card, which is really strong. It's if you control 2 light or dark, and everything in his deck's pretty much dark. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. So if it's in a graveyard, you can just bring it back. And all monsters you control become level 8, which is really useful because you can go into like really powerful rank 8s. This one is you can't be targeted by anything, like no card effects. And you can also bring out like other monsters. It's a really good effect. I love this card. But the Rokket deck, I feel like has a lot of potential just because it has a lot of cards that let you draw. Also, it floats really well. Also, you're able to trigger the Rocket's effects fairly easy with this card in your extra deck called Booster Dragon, which is just target a monster on the field, gains 500 attack and defense. It's like a permanent increase. That's a good effect, but not only is it a good effect, it triggers these effects. And these effects, the Rocket effects, are good. One of them is destroy a spell or trap, which is okay. The other one is send a monster from the field to the graveyard, which is a little better. This other one is destroy all cards in this card's column, or all opponent's cards in this card column, which is way better. You can destroy like 2 cards. And I mean, they just have a lot of effects. I'm running the ones that the effects aren't as good, down to 1. Like this one is like destroy a monster and then destroy the 2 monsters next to it. It's like it's okay, but I feel like the other ones are just better in my opinion. Also, they have more attacks, so you can actually like beat down. Their attack's not bad. It's 18 and like what, 19 or 17. It's pretty good. I like this deck a lot. I can't wait to try it out. Alright, the next deck is a fun deck. I don't know if it's going to be super competitive, but there were some cards in the extra deck that I just really wanted to make. Those cards, starting off right away, are Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, which has the effect where when it's synchro summoned, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls, which is that's a good effect, but it has an even better effect in my opinion, where it's when it battles, you can destroy the opponent's monster like right away, and they take damage equal to its attack. And this can be used during either player's battle phase. So essentially, if they attack into this monster, it just destroys theirs. So it's kind of hard to get over this guy. Also, he just destroys all monsters, all face-up monsters your opponent controls like right away. And the other one is an XYZ, which is really good. It's like the synchro, but you have to detach. This one is you detach 1 material. When it attacks a monster, the opponent's monster's attack becomes 0, and this gains the difference. So if he attacks like a monster with like 3,000 attack, the opponent's monster becomes 0, and this guy becomes like 5,500. That's insane. It can be used during either player's battle phase too. The only problem with this guy is that he only has 2 materials, so you can only use his effect twice, unlike the synchro, which you can use it like infinitely, as long as it's on the field. So what we're doing in the main deck, and I'll click over it real quick, is we're just trying to spam out tuner pendulum monsters and dark monsters, because the synchro and the XYZ can only be made with dark pendulum monsters. And I looked through the list of all the dark pendulum monsters, and I found like these are the best ones. And they're not bad. Like Clock Arc is pretty good. He has the effect where he can't be destroyed by battle, which I think is pretty good. You can also destroy your pendulum zone and replace it. The reason that's good is because he can become either a lower, like a scale 1 or scale 7. So he can like become what you need. But I found in the test hands that there's not really a problem with like having the wrong skills, since the deck has like a large variety of like either 5 or 3 skills. You're easily able to pendulum summon all the monsters in your hand easily. So we have a couple tuners because we need to be able to synchro, and we run a couple of the darks so we can make the XYZ and we can make the synchro easier. The darks aren't super important, but they are pretty good. Like this guy's effect can't be destroyed by battle once. Also, when he dies by card effect or by battle, you can special summon this other guy. This other guy has the effect where he can special summon himself as a scale, so it's like really good. We run a Dynamist engine because the Dynamist have a very powerful spell card, which is you can add one from the deck to the hand. Also, when they leave the field, you can add it from the extra deck back. And it has a good trap where you can special summon a Dynamist from your deck, like directly onto the field. Those are 2 good cards. The Dynamist are not bad either. They're level 4, so they work well with the deck. They have unique effects where like pendulum monsters can't be destroyed. They destroy the monster they attack. You banish opponent's cards, lower their attack, and you can add more Dynamist. It's just, they're generally good. Their skills are good. But here are the cards in the extra deck. Pause if you need to. But yeah, this is generally just a fun deck. It's a deck that you're trying to bring out this guy or this guy, and I don't know how good they're going to be. I think they're really overpowered cards for being rares, but We'll see how they play out. They might not be that good in this format, but we'll see. The next deck is a Dragunity deck. Dragunities are really cool because they go into synchro monsters, and I feel like they're really powerful because they also have like good effects that like search each other. Starting off, we got 3 Dragunity cores. He can become a level 4 or level 2 tuner, so he can help you go into tuners easy. We have Legionnaire, 3 copies. He can target a Dragunity in your graveyard, that's level 3 or lower, and equip it. The good thing is that when the Dragunities that are level 3 or lower are equipped, you can special summon them. So essentially his effect just becomes you special summon a Dragunity from your graveyard. We have this guy who has like a similar effect. Target a level 4 or lower wind or wing beast from your graveyard, special summon it. So he's good. He's just like allows you to go into synchro plays better. This guy does the same exact thing. So we have 3 monsters that do the same exact thing. This one's target one in your graveyard, equip it, and the equipped monsters can be special summoned. This guy has the effect where you discard a Dragunity card. You can equip one directly from your deck. It's pretty good. I mean, I like it a lot. This guy's effect is you can send a Dragunity that's face up on your field to the graveyard and equip a monster in your graveyard to it. It's cool. I like it. Okay, this card is good because you discard a level 5 or higher monster and you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So you can bring it back from the graveyard. It has pretty good stats. Also, when it leaves the field, through being destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. And banishing is really powerful. The reason we run it is because we run a spell card, which I'll show in a little bit, and we run one copy of this guy because he's kind of like a boss monster and he's searchable with this spell card. This spell card is add one Dragunity that's level 5 or higher from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and we run a couple of those. So, and this card's also searchable with a link monster, which is really easy to make in this deck. So this card's usually going to be live. I can only think that the only problem with this card would be to get it to the graveyard, but once it's in the graveyard, it's going to be really useful. We have one copy of World Legacy Guard Dragon. Target a dragon monster in your graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon it. I think it's pretty good. One copy of this, because it is searchable. Target a Dragunity in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Also, your level 5 or higher Dragunities, like, they can attack an opponent, and your opponent can't activate anything, which is good. Because your opponent can't activate, like, effects like, oh, when this card's destroyed by battle, do something. Like, they can't do that. 3 MST to get rid of stuff. 3 Dragon, Guard Dragon Catalysm. Tribute 1 dragon, target 2 cards on the field. Destroy them. It gets rid of stuff again. Usually target the back row or a big monster or whatever. This card is, if you control Dragunity Synchro, negate a spell or trap. As an additional effect, but it's not going to be active because there are no level 10 Dragunities that are available in this format. But this card is very good. I think it's good because it negates stuff. We run Dragony's Bind, which is essentially like a Vanity's Emptiness. Your opponent cannot special summon monsters with less attack of the dragon that it like targets. And usually you're going to target like the Synchro, which like 2000 attack, 2400 attack. Or what's this guy, like 2000 attack too? You can even target like some of these main deck monsters. I don't think it's a bad card. I think it's pretty good. Essentially stopping your opponent from special summoning is a really big deal, and your opponent might not be able to do anything about it. And we run one copy of Dragunity Legion. It's searchable. The best part of this effect is target a Dragunity in your graveyard, equip it to a Dragunity on the field. You usually want to target the ones in your graveyard that are the lower level ones because they can special summon themselves. And then the extra deck is pretty good too. I just put 2 of each because I feel like you're going to be going into multiple of these Dragunity monsters. All of them have unique effects. I think all of them are pretty good. The Link monster is my favorite because when it's Link summoned, you can add a Dragunity spell or trap from your deck to your hand. It's really easy to make. Two dragon and or winged beast, so super simple in this deck. It has an additional effect where if you special summon something to a zone it points to, you can like special summon something else. I think it's okay, but really the big effect that this guy has is you can add something from your deck to your hand. And we run a generator because it has an effect where you can switch opponent's card with your card, so it might come in handy sometimes. Triple burst, generic link monsters, all of these are generic. If you can run them in your extra deck, you probably should, because they're really good effects. The next deck is going to be a deck called Phantasm Tenyi. Going over the deck, we have 2 copies of this, 1 copy of Metaphys. This is like the boss monster. 1 copy of this one, because his effect is you can target a banished wyvern. I feel like it's not as powerful as the other ones. 1 Planet Finder, because you can only run 1 in this event. 2 of these guys, because his effect's actually pretty good. The normal monster is destroyed, just special summon it back, destroy an opponent's card. Really good. 2 of this guy. Your normal monster can't be targeted. Will come in handy a lot, I have a feeling. This one is, run 2 copies of this guy. He can lower the attack of the opponent's monster. You can only run 1 copy of this. It's the best one, hands down. Has the biggest attack, biggest defense. Also, its effect is target a card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. And then 3 copies of this guy, because he can special summon 1 from your deck, a Tenyi. Also, he has good stats. I think his stats are actually bigger than this guy, so I lied earlier. We run 1 equip card. We can run more, but the deck is really tight, so we're only running 1. You run 3 of the field spell, which is single-handedly the best card. If we normal summon something or special summon a normal monster, we can add another one. We can add a Phantasmal Spiral card, and all of them are really good. It also gives us a token, so it gives us a monster, and these cards can work off that token, so it has really good synergy with the deck. We run 1 of the field spell. It's searchable. Essentially, the field spell's effect is our normal monsters are unaffected by opponent's monster effects, which is kind of good, but I think the better effect is if our opponent special summons an effect monster while we control a normal monster, we draw 2 cards. So I think the drawing part is more useful than anything else. 3 MST to get rid of annoying back row. 3 copies of this card. This card can search our deck for a wyvern monster, and if we tribute off a wyvern monster, we can special summon whatever we searched. Also, you can banish this card from the graveyard if you control a normal monster, and you can add a Tenyi. It's really powerful. I like it a lot. I have a feeling it's going to be really, really good, especially since it's a quick play. You can use it during your opponent's turn. So you can, like, if your opponent's going to destroy your monster with, like, a card effect, you can just, like, immediately get rid of your monster, and they kind of lose advantage. We also run Paleozoics because when they're brought back from the graveyard, they're treated as normal monsters. So they also trigger, like, the cards in the deck, which is really cool because they're really good effects. This one destroys spell or traps. This one's like a Book of Moon, flips it face down. The most powerful Paleozoic. It's you target a card, and then you banish it, and then you discard a card. It's good. 1 Lost Wind. This card can come back if your opponent special summons from the extra deck. It negates a special summon monster. Negates a special summon monster's effect and halves its attack. It's a good card. You could run more copies of it. I'm just running 1 for now. You can only run 1 of these, Phantasm Spiral Battle. It has the effect where if you control a normal monster, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Super simple effect. It's very powerful. If you have the field spell on the field, you can activate this card from the hand. Also, it has a graveyard effect. You can banish it from the graveyard, and then you can equip your normal monster with the equip spells. So it's cool. This one has the effect where you can target an effect monster, negate its effect. It's searchable. So that's why we're only running 1 Lost Wind, because this is essentially like Lost Wind, except it's searchable, so it's nice. Champion's Vigilance. This card has the effect where if you control either the token that's special summoned from the field, or if you control the big guy, which is searchable, you can negate anything. You can negate a summon, a spell, or a trap. It's really, really good. And we have 3 of it in this deck. We also run 1 of these. If you control a normal monster, you can just negate anything as well. So this deck is like, it's actually like really stunning. It means like you can stop your opponent from doing things. Your opponent wants to like do a bunch of spell or traps, you can destroy it with this or this. They want to do monster effects, you can just flip it face down or banish it entirely, or you can destroy it or negate its effects. Or even if you want to, you can just completely just stop everything with the 4 negates that it has. The main deck's not bad. You get a free monster from the field spell. The Tenyis all like do unique effects to protect your monsters. They all have effects that like add cards or whatever. It's just like the deck's legit good. And because of this, I didn't really focus too much on the extra deck. The extra deck can be whatever you want it to be. I made it as generic as I could, putting in the Tenyis, so you can make Tenyis if you want. And the Tenyis are normal monsters, so they do trigger some of the effects in the deck. Although the Tenyi does not have a level, so it does not trigger Champion's Vigilance. The only way to trigger this is with the field, or the guy I just took out right now, Metaphys Armed Dragon. But yeah, I'll go over the extra deck. Pause if you need to. It's just generic monsters. Run a rank 7 because you can make a rank 7 in this deck with the Tenyis. And yeah, this deck seems really cool. It seems really, really powerful because being able to stop your opponent is really strong, especially if you have good follow-up, which this deck does have. Alright, here's the second to last deck. Sadly, I don't really own any of these cards, but I have a feeling that this deck is going to be good because I played against it in like normal play and it completely destroyed me. This is a Metaphys deck. I'm going to be going over the deck list, clicking over it real quick, pause if you need to, and then I'm going to be doing a card for card, talking about every card in the deck and what works and like what doesn't work. Oh, by the way, this card does not need to be in the extra deck. It's just there as a filler. You can replace it with anything else. Dragon Master Knight does need to be in the extra deck though, because it's useful with one of the traps in the deck. So, starting off real quick, I'll be talking about the extra deck. The extra deck, we run Dragon Master Knight because we have a card in our main deck called Dogmatic of Punishment, which is target an opponent's card, send a card from our extra deck to the graveyard, and destroy our opponent's card if it has less attack. This card has like 5,000 attack, so essentially this card's effect becomes destroy an opponent's card. The extra deck's full of generic cards. We run a little bit of rank 7s because we can make rank 7s. Are we going to be making rank 7s or rank 8s? Not really, because it's more of a main deck type of deck. We don't really go into the extra deck. You can if you need to, so the options are there, but you don't really go into it. Starting off with the main deck, this is the best card in the deck. You can target a Metaphys that's banished or in your graveyard, special summon it. It can be used as a scale, so you don't have to normal summon it. You can use it like as a spell card that's continuous. Really, really cool. You're not going to be pendulum summoning in this deck, but this effect is just really powerful. To get out your Metaphys monsters, you're going to be needing to use Unmasked Dragon. When it's destroyed by battle, you can special summon a Wyvern from your deck with 5,000 or less defense. You can't special summon this guy, but you can special summon this guy, Daedalus, which is really useful because it allows you to get your Metaphys engine going. You can also special summon the little guy from your deck. The only problem with this card is that it needs to be destroyed by battle, so your opponent needs to destroy it. Next, we got Knight Dragolich. You can only run 2 copies of this card. It has a really powerful effect where if your opponent special summons anything from the main deck or extra deck, it immediately gets switched to defense, and it has 0 defense. So you can just attack over anything that they try to summon from their extra deck, or even their main deck. The Metaphys cards are like the most powerful ones in this deck. They have effects like when they're special summoned, you can banish all other special summon face-up monsters your opponent controls. It also has effects like you can banish all set cards on the field, and also it can like attack twice. It's unaffected by trap cards. And they have effects when they're banished, like you can like special summon one from your hand, you can add one Metaphys from your hand, and you can like banish another Metaphys from your deck, so you can like trigger effects. Another way to get them on the field that's outside of Unmasked Dragon and Decoy Dragon is by using this field spell, which allows us to just normal summon them without tributing. Our opponent can't respond to the normal summon, so they can't negate the summon, or they can't chain like Bottomless Trap Ball, even though Bottomless would kind of help this deck. The only bad part is that the monster that we normal summon, it gets banished during the end phase of the next turn. That's not really bad because these monsters want to be banished, so you get like more effects. We also run a really powerful card called Dimensional Fissure. This card, any card that's sent to the graveyard, including your opponent's, which can really mess up your opponent's, is banished instead. This card is going to be super, super annoying. Your opponent's not going to love this card at all. They're going to hate it. This card is just so powerful. I don't know why it's a rare. I don't know why you can run 3 of it. It's going to be really annoying in this event. But in this deck, it's super, super powerful. We run 3 MST to get rid of any annoying cards. We run 3 Paleozoic Dinomyscus just to banish any annoying cards. Lost Wind to negate anything if our opponent tries to do anything like really big. Like big plays, big pushes, we just negate it. Also, it can come back from the graveyard. This card adds consistency to the deck. We discard a Metaphys, draw a card, and we can banish one from our deck. What we want to banish is either Metaphys, so we can add a Metaphys from our deck to our hand. And we can even add the field spell, so it'd be pretty useful. We can also banish this guy, who can special summon one from the hand. Or we can like extend plays with Daedalus. It's a good card, really, really good. Also, if it's banished, and it can easily be banished with Metaphys effect, because it banishes all set cards, we get to add a Metaphys card from our deck to your hand. So, really useful effect. Punishment essentially just becomes destroy a monster your opponent controls. And this card's the more important one. Target a Metaphys that's banished, special summon it. If a card is banished, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. The deck's really strong. It's really annoying. I hope a lot of people don't use this, but I wanted to make a deck list because I do feel like this deck is you're definitely going to be seeing this deck. And finally, I wanted to end it off with a cute deck. This is a Dragonmaid deck. I'm going to be clicking over all of the cards, so pause if you need to, just so you can see the names. I'll be going over what each card does after I click over everything. But yeah, I've really been enjoying this deck. But yeah, I really did enjoy this deck when I made it originally on my other account. The extra deck is pretty generic, I would say. It's similar to the last one because we didn't really change up much. So starting off, we got 3 copies of Nurse. Target a Dragonmaid in your graveyard, special summon it. Also in the battle phase, you can return it to your hand, special summon a Dragonmaid that's level 7 in the graveyard or in your hand on the field. We have card effects like this guy sends the top 3 cards of the deck to the graveyard. Pretty useful in this deck so we can get cards in the graveyard. This one is you can send one directly from your deck to the graveyard. I want to say this is the single-handedly best Dragonmaid in this entire deck, simply because it can search you any card that's a Dragonmaid from your deck, and some are better left off in the graveyard. 1 copy of Keeper of the Shrine. It's a really good card to have in a dragon deck, because if it's in the graveyard and a dragon monster is destroyed, you can special summon this card back. It can be treated as 2 tribute summons, which is good in this deck because you can tribute summon the big guys. The big guys all have unique effects where you can do something in the hand. This one, so you can special summon another one from the hand, target a monster in the graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. The most important one is you can increase the attack of a Dragonmaid monster by 2,000 attack, so it's like a hand trap. The Dragonmaids can only special summon like their corresponding level. So the level 2s can only special summon 7s from the graveyard, and the level 3 can only special summon 8. So you can't like bring out this one, Parlor Dragon, and you can't bring out like any of these 2. You can only bring out this one. So that part does suck a little bit, but I feel like the deck's really good because not only are the attack of the big Dragonmaid strong, but they also have like really good trap cards, which I'll be going over because the trap cards are searchable. They're searchable with Parlor. So the first one is you can target a Dragonmaid, return it to the hand, add a Dragonmaid card from your deck to your hand. The other effect is you can return 1 spell or trap your opponent controls to the hand. So you can like bounce it to the hand. You can get rid of something that's really annoying that you're afraid of. It's pretty useful. The next one is hands down like the best card in the entire deck. It has an effect where you can just target a dragon monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. It's like this card, but it's better. Although it's not continuous, it has a graveyard effect also where you can just banish this card from the graveyard, special summon a Dragonmaid in your graveyard in defense position. That's really, really good. We run Dogmatic of Punishment because we don't really go into the extra deck in this deck. I mean, you could fit it in, but I feel like this doesn't really have a boss monster. All of them are like super ultra rare. So we're just making the most out of the main deck as we can. So we're running Dogmatic of Punishment, Guard Dragon Cataclysm, tribute a dragon monster, destroy 2 cards on the field, and we run 1 copy of Burst Breath. You don't need to run this card. I wanted to put it in at 1 just to talk about it. It's tribute a dragon monster and destroy all face-up monsters on the field whose defense is less than attack. So essentially what you can do is if you tribute off one of these guys, you can almost certainly destroy all monsters your opponent controls. 3 MST because you can like destroy stuff easy. World Legacy Guard Dragon essentially is like a monster reborn. Target the little Dragonmaids and special summon them, or you can add them to your hand. You can also move them into different zones, which is not as important in this deck as it should be. And this card is a unique tech card. It's called the Claw of Hermos. Essentially, its effect is send a dragon from your hand to the graveyard, special summon a really strong fusion monster. The fusion monster, if no monsters are on the field, the fusion monster is just going to be a 24 body. But if you control dragon, the fusion monster equips to whatever dragon. Let's say you have like one of these girls. It equips to her, and it gives her 1,000 attack for every dragon on the field and in the graveyard, including itself. So whatever you equip it to is going to be really strong. Although, a warning, this card can also equip to an opponent's monster. So let's say you activate this spell, and your opponent controls a monster, and you control nothing. It's going to equip to your opponent's card. So you have to be really careful with it. You have to have a monster on your side of the field. Otherwise, you're just going to be making your opponent have like an 8,000 monster like out of nowhere. And you don't want to do that unless you're like trying to lose. But yeah, this deck's really cute. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a lot of fun in the normal and rare event. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video and sticking around with me so long. I hope you have a great day or night, and maybe I'll see you later. Peace.